Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is the final WrestleMania themed show that I'm going to do for this year. You can always find one to do around Mania 35 time next year. And I can always plug the ones that I did in 2016, 2017, and this year. This is 10 Mania matches that didn't deliver. There's a lot of them. Let's be honest about that. There's a lot of filler on a lot of the older Mania cards. Especially until about Mania 9, they were putting like sometimes 14, 15 matches on there. Now, of course, with the network, they're putting pre-show matches on. And then like a 10-match Mania card, so you get 13, maybe even possibly 14 matches. But the shows are a whole lot longer. At least they give some of the matches a chance to tell more of a story. With this, these are just 10 matches I feel for the hype that they got. And the build they got either on TV or in general, that they just didn't ultimately deliver. Whether match quality, whether, performers just didn't care. One of the two. Now, obviously, are there more than 10 matches? Oh, fuck yes. There are going to be some that I have talked about before, so I'm pretty much just going to say, here's why, and check out this rant if you would like to. Know more details, because I'm not going to rehash every single thing I do. Even though I am rehashing some rants that I did on Times in Wrestling to Piss Me Off Redux, yes, cheap plug. But that's because, again, I got better video and internet quality now. So, anyway, without further ado, number 10, Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart at Mania 11. Sweet Jesus, this was bad. And these are two of the best in-ring talents of all time. Bob Backlund was great especially when he finally snapped and became a heel. He was great as champion before, of course, in the late 70s, early 80s. And Bret speaks for, Bret's talents speak for themselves. My favorite superstar of all time. Doesn't mean that people have to love Bret, but I do. Even with his opinions, even with a little bit of his craziness and his bitterness. But this match was bad because no chemistry. It was really sloppy, really badly paced. Roddy Piper, of course, with a corded mic. It was I Quit match, so he's yelling at special guest referee, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? He's like shoving it in everybody's face. That looked kind of gross off camera. But it was just bad. It was just for what they did. And their Survivor Series 94 match wasn't the best. Their Superstars match in July of 94 was actually better. This was just bad. This was just really bad. It was bland. It was boring. And Backlund didn't even end up saying, I quit. It's like, do you quit? Yes. Said something like that. He wasn't doing a Matt Hardy laugh. That would be really weird, even though Bob Backlund is a little unusual. Great guy. Seems like a great guy. Great wrestling talent. Insane, but great. This is just a match that just didn't deliver. And number 20, from Mania 20, rather, number 9, Taker versus Kane. The build-up to this was 10 out of 10. The entrances were great. Paul Bearer making his return, and Taker doing this and all this, and Taker doing the entrance, stuff like that with the Druids and whatever. That was great stuff. The problem is then the bell rang. This is like a 4 out of 10 match, and no, that's not a Bret Hart joke. It was just designed to get Taker over, to get the Undertaker, dead man gimmick over again, even though it was always going to be fucking over. But this was designed for Kane to get a few spots in, but it was sloppy. It was really not good at all. Taker did his usual spots. Kane did some good spots. The hype for it was great. The build for it was great. Just the payoff was eh. The payoff wasn't like offensive. It was just eh. It happened. Number 8, Triple H versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 27. I don't care what anybody says. I do care what you guys say. You guys can have your opinions. The Mania 27 matches was one of the most boring, slow-paced matches I've seen. I got that they were trying to add drama with it, with the whole thing of Triple H being Shawn Michaels' friend and wanting to avenge his friend because he got retired at the previous Mania. The problem is Shawn Michaels delivered better matches with Undertaker. Yes, the Mania 28 match was lightning in a bottle, especially with the added dynamic of Shawn Michaels being the special guest referee. But it was slow-paced. I didn't expect these guys to do flips and, super kicks and that kind of stuff and whatever. And a bunch of dives and stuff like that. I didn't expect them to be moving lightning speed. They were veterans, beat up, and a lot of injuries. I don't mind telling a story through Impact. This match could have been about 10 minutes less than it was. or at least 5 minutes less, and it might have been a little better. It dragged on and on and on, and to me, the drama just wasn't there. Now, that's fine if you guys think the drama was there. That's great. I just didn't think it was there at all, and I thought it was pretty plotting and boring. Just was. Their Mania 28 match over-delivered. Their Mania 17 match really over-delivered, because I didn't think, with as stacked as that card was, that match stood out. And often is forgotten about as one of their best matches they ever had, in my personal opinion at least. Especially at that point in their careers. Then we go to number 7, which was Rock vs. Cena at Mania 29. One, it shouldn't have happened. It should have been CM Punk inserted into the match. Even if Punk took the pin. Because you didn't need to give Rock the damn title. You could have had CM Punk even lose by not getting pinned. Cena could have pinned Rock. Punk's title reign would have ended, I think it would have been 500 days, which would have been a nice benchmark. I don't know what you would have done with Taker necessarily, unless you somehow could have wrangled Sting away from Impact and had Sting wrestle Taker at that Mania. That might have been kind of cool. But it would have been a kind of nice way to do that. Just the way they did this, like Rock versus Cena, fans were apathetic. It's not that the match was badly wrestled. Of course, Rock did get injured during this. And it wasn't Cena's fault, it wasn't Rock's fault, it just happens. But it delayed the shooting of Hercules, which if you saw his version of Hercules, wasn't that good. It was better than the other version that came out in January 2014. But this just was flat. This was really flat. And of course, Cena winning. Cena wins, lulls, but just not good. Not good. Really sloppy. And then we go to Cena versus Bray at Mania 30. Fucking hell. I mean, they had such a chance to make a star here. Bray could have beat Cena. They could have had Cena snap, get a DQ. Bray could have laid him out afterwards. Bray would have had his heat. Cena would have lost by DQ, so it showed that Cena could give into the hate, and you can build that feud from there. And Bray could have even maybe won the Extreme Rules match, and then Cena would have gone over in the end by winning the Last Man Standing match. Okay, cool. But nope, they had Cena beat Bray. And it just took all the steam out of the fucking feud. Even the weird stuff with the kid's distorted voice at Extreme Rules 2014 was not very good. But God, this did such damage to Bray's character. Whether it was Cena's call to beat Bray or whether it was Creative's call to beat Bray, whoever's call it was, they were stupid to do it. Like, really fucking stupid to do it. This had a lot of hype around it, a lot of great potential as an undercard match, and it did not deliver. Number 5, Triple H vs. Jericho, Mania 18. You can blame the crowd being exhausted from Rock and Hogan for this, but they had another match between that, so the crowd got a chance to get his energy back. I believe they had the women on there after Rock and Hogan. And the women did fine. I mean, I'm certainly not discounting them, as Jazz, Trish, and Lita was actually on my top, in the top echelon of matches at WrestleMania for, the women. I actually got that second part that you guys will probably have already watched by the time this video goes up. And of course, number 1's pretty damn obvious as to what it is. But with Triple H and Jericho, if that had been switched with Rock and Hogan, wouldn't have been so bad. Now, I get the title going on last, and I do agree with that, but in this instance, Rock versus Hogan should have been the main event. It really should have. I mean, the fact that it wasn't was pretty ridiculous. But whatever. Hey, I'm not knocking Jericho and Triple H, but they were between a rock and a hard place. Pardon the pun. It just wasn't going to work. It just simply wasn't going to work, and it ended up being decent. I mean, Stephanie got a pedigree out of it, and Jericho and Triple H worked fine together. But their Hell in a Cell match at, I believe, Judgment Day 2002 was better. I mean, one Hell in a Cell, so of course it was going to be an underrated Hell in a Cell match as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it didn't deliver. It just didn't. Triple H as champion was cool, but he was done being champion in a month. What a comeback story that was. Number 4, Triple H versus Orton at Mania 25. Well, the whole breaking the glass thing with the sledgehammer was kind of cool. And then Triple H and Orton happened, and if Triple H got... It was if, like, the title could change hands on a DQ. So Triple H was champion. And even though Orton had made Triple H's life hell, kissing Stephanie, punting Vince in the head, beating up Shane, all that stuff, you're thinking, okay, Orton's going to win. Even though they wanted to see Triple H beat the shit out of Orton, you could have made no DQ and Orton could end up winning in the end, and that would have been fine. But no, even though with the DQ thing, like Triple H could lose the title on a DQ, Triple H won. It was bad booking. I mean, it was bad booking in general. I mean, it's not knocking either performer. It was just really bad booking. Absolute shit. And this also was another example where Triple H again got undercut by, another match before it. It was Triple H, or, Taker versus Shawn. That just exhausted the crowd. I mean, exhausted the damn pay-per-view audience. I remember watching it. I mean, I think I want to say I was on Twitter at the time. I don't remember if I tweeted about it. I think I actually made a Twitter a couple weeks after this happened, or this event happened. Had I been on Twitter at the time, I don't know how active it would have been, but boy, Triple H versus Orton just didn't deliver. It just really didn't. And that's part of the reason why I don't feel that Triple H should be in main events of pay-per-views. Except on select occasions. I mean, the one with Cena was fine. At 22. And now we move on to Triple H versus Roman Reigns at Mania 32. Just sweet Jesus, this thing was like 27 hours. It should have been about 15 minutes at the most. Whether people love Roman Reigns or not, having him out there for long matches is not a good idea, because he gets exposed. Is he a bad wrestler? No, he can work. He can work with the right people, especially. A lot of right people can get the right things out of him, and he lets loose a little bit and has some good moves. This just wasn't good. This wasn't going to be good no matter what happened with it. That Stephanie Spear bump didn't really do anything. I mean, it popped the crowd for about 5 seconds. Yay, Stephanie got speared. Okay, and now we're still going to boo Reigns. It went on too long. It was at one of the longest WrestleManias ever, and people didn't want to see Roman Reigns be the champion. They didn't. And it happened, and they had to turn the arena mics down because people were booing so loud. Yet you could still hear them booing because the boos were coming loud and clear. They turned the house mics down. They didn't turn them off. It just didn't deliver. It was just, it was too long. It was too boring. And it was at the end of too long of a Mania. It's a bad mix. Bad mix there. Now we move on to number 2. Taker versus Reigns at Mania 33. And look, it might sound like I'm knocking Roman Reigns. I'm actually knocking Triple H in this whole thing more. But this was, again, another shitstorm that just wasn't going to work. Taker was beat up. He couldn't move. Reigns was too beat up. Reigns, was not at the point where carrying a veteran like that was going to work. Do I blame Reigns for it? No. Do I blame Taker for it? No. I kind of blame Taker for the fact that he shouldn't have been wrestling. He should have just said, no, I'm not going to do it. Find somebody else. Because I don't like Taker being used in a pawn of this whole thing with Reigns and Lesnar. I just don't. Just don't at all. But it just was plotting and not go. Again, I didn't expect a ton of flips, dives, all that stuff. I'm not knocking either guy as a performer. It was too long. Father Time had caught up to Taker years before, but he sank his teeth into Taker here. And didn't let go. And it was sad. It was sad to see. But it was a match that shouldn't have gone on live. Now, if it's Taker's official last match, if he actually doesn't wrestle WrestleMania 34, and again, by the time this video goes up, that may have already been announced that he will be wrestling at Mania 34, probably against Cena. Oh, God. But Taker in his last match here, okay. I get why it was the main event, but boy, it was sloppy. And just sad to watch. And Reigns won, and the crowd was upset. Of course they were. Taker's beloved. Sorry, Reigns is beloved in some circles. But anyway, number 1, Goldberg versus Lesnar, Mania 20. Neither guy wanted to be there. Both guys had checked out. They didn't give a good performance. They didn't give a shit. Austin was moreover, stunned both of them at the end after Goldberg had beaten Lesnar, even though they were going to possibly have Lesnar beat Goldberg because for a minute Lesnar was going to stick around and decided to go to the NFL, whatever. Lesnar left and then did his thing and then came back eight years later and all is forgiven. And he got millions of dollars to show up about 5 times a year. Balor versus Rollins would still be a better choice for full-time Universal Champion, not Roman Reigns, and I'm sticking to that. I don't care what anybody thinks. If you guys love Roman Reigns, that's fine. Not telling you guys you're wrong. But anyway, Goldberg versus Lesnar at Mania 20, the one match that didn't deliver at all. And Austin tried to make it interesting. Try his best. But it was bad. It was explosively bad. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. This may be the last video that I record for a bit on my phone. As of the recording of this video, I pretty much have no space left. But anyway, do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I am John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.